All right, we are live. So I guess class is in session. All right. So this is Coil Class. Coil Class is a live video series that takes place here on N.Divine YouTube channel at 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. every Tuesday night Eastern Time. I sat down and figured out every type of coil there is, put them in order of difficulty and age, and now we will go through systematically and learn every build from oldest and easiest to newest and hardest. All videos go to the Coil Class playlist, and there will also be a hashtag coil class for people who want to build along and show off their build on Instagram. We also get to go back in time and install these coils in RDAs of past. All right. So last week we did cord braids. This week we're squishing claptons. This week we are doing arch clapton and snake belly. This show is going to be a little different than others. On a scale of 1 to 50, if we have 50 of these coil class videos, we're at about a level 12 tonight because this is lesson 12 of coil class. All right. So first we're going to do the arch clapton. I do encourage people to save questions until the end because I am going to be paying attention to what I'm doing so that I could teach you the correct way to do these. This video is going to be a little different, I think, because we're going to do the arch clapton first, move on to the snake belly. But I have a story about the snake belly when we get to it. So let's just focus on the arch clapton first, okay? So the original creator, the original concept of the arched clapton comes from Blue Eye Goon. And aside from a couple of times that I did this build live, Mr. Homeboy OC has a tutorial on this coil. It's a very good tutorial. You can learn whatever you need to learn on Homeboy OC's video. I'm actually going to be following his directions and doing this build tonight. Homeboy OC does it on the local vape YouTube channel. All right, that's how I learned it. But it is a original coil from Mr. Homeboy OC. So I'm going to be using the same types of wire he used. But the wires are very weird for this. There's going to be a lot of people that don't have 18 gauge wire. I have to use 18 gauge for this wire just to show you how it's done. Now, I sat down earlier this week and I did a couple arch claptons. I did one that didn't use the 18 gauge. I did one that used 20 gauge as a substitute, but I had to substitute the other wires on the inside too, and you will see why. So the coil we're going to be doing tonight, the arch clapton, looks like this. 1 second. Where is my macro? So the coil I'm going to be doing tonight is this exact coil. This is the wire I'm going to be using. That's the exact coil I'm going to use too. All right, using these same wires. But I use substitution wires to make a smaller version for people that don't have. So it looks the same thing, only smaller. All right, these are 2 different sizes, but the same coil. Just to make it easier on myself to show you, I'm going to do the bigger version. But I will tell you what gauges you could do for this, okay? So I will go through and show you how to do this build. I think we're going to get it installed and then move on to the next one because it's going to be a different show tonight. I may have to do a pre-recorded of the second build. I may have to. We'll just have to see how it goes. And I'll get to that subject when we get to it. First, the arch clapton. All right. The arched clapton is one of my favorite old school builds. I love the arch clapton. They're fun to make and they vape really good. This is just one of my favorites of all time. I love arch claptons. I think they're very fun to make. They're very different, and they vape good. So, just my 2 cents. All right. Let me just say what's up. I do encourage for you to save your questions until the end, or until I'm installing at least. When I'm installing, questions are a go. Not to be rude, just so I do this the right way. Alex Fried Eggs, what's up? Bassmaster Cubes here. What is up? Big G Coils, Bones the Skater, Chris Payne, Clint Johnson, Dave Monteferro, Eric Heyman, Jess is here, Kim Dixon, Lando, what's up? Luther Williams, Mr. Pebble, Nick Fenton, Sicko Wicko, Stephen A. Can, one, Straight Drippin', Those Beans, Tom Cameron, and Trevor is that one person. What is up? What is up, everybody? Anybody I didn't say hi to, you weren't on my participants list, what's up? Anybody watching and not in chat, what is going on? Don't forget to hit like. Make sure you subscribe. I actually checked who isn't subscribed, and 63% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. 63% of the people watching this video are not subscribed. That's some crazy numbers, dude. What the fuck's the matter with you? All right. Thank you all who did sub. Shout out to the patrons. Let's do it. Notes are gone. That fell right in my fucking drawer. Right in my fucking drawer. I went like this. It curved around and hit right into my fucking drawer. How you like them friggin' apples? I'm on point tonight. Let's do it. The Arch Clapton. All right, so first and foremost, the wires I'm going to be using for this build. The wires I'm going to be using, okay? First and foremost, I have a piece of 18 gauge here. All right, this is 18 gauge wire. It is very, very thick wire. All right, this is 18 gauge. 18 gauge I will be using. I will also be using 26 gauge. Doesn't matter what type of either. You could use any kind of 18, any kind of 26. Doesn't matter. 18, 26, and 30 gauge, whatever. Canthol is going to be good for me. Nichrome works, stainless steel, whatever wires. You don't need a certain type. If you have these three wires, you are in the win. Now, there's a lot of things that are like 18 gauge that you could also use. Even 16, you could kind of, all right, so 18 gauge. We're only using this to get a decor, though. We're not using it in the build. I have this 18 gauge for years. I use this 18 gauge and this 18 gauge only to do all my arch claptons. I don't know where the rest of my 18 gauge is, but as long as I have this, I'm good. So 18, 26, and 30 are the wires I will be using, okay? Now, let's say you don't have, okay? You don't have, there's ways to substitute. Now, some people are probably going to have to, experiment with what they could do. Take your biggest wire. Take your biggest wire. Now, the substitution I did for the smaller coil, what I used was .20 gauge. All right, I used 20 gauge and 29. 20 gauge, 29, and 30. Or you could just use 20 gauge and 30 for everything else. All right, but I used this one. I used 20, 29, and 30. All right. If you don't have 20 and you have 22, like straight dripping, there is a way. There's definitely a way. You could do 2-core instead of 3. This is a 3-core build. You could do 2-core. You could do smaller wires on the inside. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to do with 22. It is. It's going to be real hard to do with 22, but it's possible. You can go to Home Depot and buy 18 gauge, like little spools are like $3. It's not vapable, but it's 18 gauge wire. I actually think that's what this is. I don't think this is something I bought from a vape site. I just remember I always had that 18 gauge. If you have 16, that'll work. You could do a 4-core instead of a 3-core. All right, so let me show you how to do it. And anybody that can't do it, it's like you just got to figure it out. I can't do every type, you know. It sucks that I can't, but I can't figure out what 22 is at the moment. Maybe I'll try it this week and see if I can let you know what I did. I imagine 22 and like 332s, but that would be weird. That would be a weird build. You could also substitute 30 out for 32. All right, you can use 32 or 34 for your Clapton wire. So let's go to it. I'll explain that all again. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to get your drill. All right, you're going to take your 18 gauge and you're going to put it into your drill. All right, so 18 gauge in the drill. Very easy. Once again, Homeboy OC has a tutorial where he does the same exact thing I'm about to do. Same exact build. Now you take your 30 gauge, all right? If you don't have 30 gauge, you could do it with 32. You could also do it with 34. I suggest 30 or 32. I'm going to take 30, all right? I got this 30 gauge Canthil I'm just looking to get rid of, all right? So I'm going to take my 30 gauge Canthil, and I'm going to make a Clapton with this. I'm not going to put it on my swivel. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out about 5-6 feet, stretch it straight, and cut it off my spool. Now, what you want to do is you only want to make a 4-inch Clapton here. You do not want to do dual coil at the same time. If you do 8 inches, cut it in half at the end. But you just want to do a single coil at a time. So I'm going to stick this 30 gauge. I'm going to stick this 30 gauge 90 into my chuck because I kind of want it loose. All right. And I'm just going to make a Clapton with this. I'm not even on a swivel right now. I'm just going to make a 30 gauge Clapton over this 18 gauge. Nothing special, just a Clapton. All right. Nice tight Clapton. Make it a tight Clapton. See, 18 gauge stays pretty sturdy, so it's not really hard to do this with no swivel. Six feet was way too much. Not way too much. 5 feet would have been fine. I should have did just 5 feet. Now it's going to recoil and kind of be able to slide back and forth. Let me see what I got. Oh, shit. Never mind. Maybe 6 feet was good. That's only 3 inches. I want a 4-inch piece. Oh, wow. Yeah, 6 feet was good. 6 feet was perfect. Basically, how I measured it was just my arm length. I'm not 6 feet tall, but I'm close to. So it's about 6 feet, a little less than 6, and that's good. All right, here's the end of that wire. That's good. I could do a little more. And now I got a 4-inch Clapton. All right, so we know D-cores. I'm going to put my drill in reverse it just a couple times. Nothing crazy, just to make this loose. I'm going to just take this and decore it. I'm going to take that 30 gauge right off that 18 gauge. We're done with the 18. That's it. That's all you need the 18 gauge for. You just need something pretty big. Like I said, 16 will work. You could probably just put an extra core in there. I think I actually have 16 to try at one point. But I love the 18 gauge. I think it's just the best one to use. 20 gauge will work with your with your 29 gauge wires. All right. Okay. So I got this clapton right now. What we're going to do, and Homeboy OC explains this in the video over on the local vape YouTube. We're going to do a fanning process. So what we're doing is we're not really squishing the wires like flat. We're kind of just, we're putting them in a different direction. So let's think of it this way. If you look down this clapton, it's a circle, right? It's just a circle, just like a couple coins. And it's a couple circles put together, just like a couple coins, right? So that's a clapton, right? Tight clapton. All right. Like it's 3 wraps on a clapton, pretend. What we're doing with this wire is we're fanning it out. We're doing this. That's all we're doing. We're not crunching it down. We're just fanning it out. Fan, you know, like a hand fan. That's all we're doing with this clapton right now. All right. So if your clapton's like this, we're going to be bending our clapton like that. And you got to do very little at a time. And how you do this is with needle noses. I do suggest what he uses in the video. The little kind of angled needle noses work perfect. You could use regular needle noses. I've done it a lot of times before I got these. You can, but these work really, really, really good. You have this, point it towards you on the inside. All right. You take the clapton. Let me see if I can get this on camera. You take the clapton wire. And what I'm going to do, the first one's the hardest. And then after that, it kind of just follows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it a little. Like that. You see what it did? That's what I'm doing to the whole thing. That's it. And you go little by little. And this is called the fanning process. So if you have to explain it to anybody, say like, you know, I'm having problems at the fanning process, or I get past the fanning process, or whatever. The fanning process is the most fun, or the fanning process takes the longest, whatever. So you only have to go and hit each of them a little bit. You do want to make sure you get it down. I don't think the beginning I got down enough. And you go like 3 claptons at a time or something, or like 4 or 5 at a time. And once you get going, you could really move down it. It's not going to take me all that long, which will be good because I need a lot of time for the second coil, I think. And I'm just going to pinch and fan it out like that. You don't want to crunch it down too much. And like in the local vape video, and Boy OC says maybe you want to make a couple extra claptons just in case you do push. If you push down too hard, you're going to ruin it. And you're not going to be able to get your cores in there when we have to put cores in this. Because that's all we're going to do is we're going to do this fanning process, and then we're going to shove cores in there. All right. So I just want to go down this whole wire like this. Just with the tip of the needle noses, and just do it like this. The reason why these angles work so good is because I can get my hand so close to it. So I'm stopping the needle noses before I crimp too much. All right. That's why these angled ones work so good on this. All right. I'm going to just go down the entire wire besides the very, very end. I'm not going to do it. And that's just going to help me get my cores in there and start it. It's a feeling that you get, like you feel when the wire fans. It's a weird feeling. But you feel like they're doing what I just showed you with the coins. Like if you looked at a side view, it's probably going to look different than the view that you see now. See? And just move down little by little. And fan You want to do this one all in one motion. You don't want to have to go back and fix something in the middle. So you want to hit them all at once. They're going to fall down better if you do them little at a time, because they're just going to follow what the last ones were pinched down, basically. Like you see, I'm kind of grabbing halfway on what I just crimped and halfway in front of it. And it's just following that angle. It's going to bend all the same way all the way down. And it's going to get this little bend in it, but that's okay. Anytime you bend wire, it's going to favor one way. So I'm like, I don't know, halfway down or something. More than halfway. So it's a little time consuming, but it's not too bad. And there's more steps, obviously, after this to make it look even better that we'll get to. But after this process, it's just put the cores in after this. I feel like 4 inches is more than enough too. This is going to be like an alien coil where you're going to want to do it 5 wraps. 2 coils will get you at like a 0.1 or so, depending on what wires you're using. The hardest thing about this is having the material to do it. Like, not everybody has 18 gauge. That's the one thing that sucks about this, is like, who wants to buy a spool 18 gauge just to do a build? But maybe you do. I mean, I do. Oh no, I might have crimped that down too much, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. It sucks when you make a mistake right at the end. All right. I feel like I might have messed up down at the end here a couple times. I'm not sure though. Good thing is I got plenty enough that if I have to cut off a little bit, I will be able to. All right, now we're at the end here. You want to leave a little bit at the end, not crushed, and that's going to help me stick my cores in. I'm going to do a little more, even though I don't really have to. Okay. And this is what we got. It's not going to look pretty right now, but this is what we got. All right. We fan them out. Can I catch a focus, please? I was just focusing that whole time. Come on, fucker. Huh. It's weird. I'm actually thinking about sticking it through the opposite way, but I'll see. All right, now, 26 gauge. All right. We want 3 pieces at 4 inches. Very, very, very straight we want. Very straight. Now, this is where, if you have to do a smaller set, this is where it's going to get harder, because it's easier to keep 26 straight than it is 29, you know? But I did it, and it was good. All right, so I'm going to need about a 4-inch piece. Three times. If you did 16, I think you could do 4. You might want to do 4/28 if you did 16 gauge. It'll be easy to figure out once you start of what gauges you could use because it goes in fairly easy. It's not like going to be hard to put in there. You want it to be easy to put it in there. All right, so I'm going to come to this part that I left, the part that I didn't bend. All right, remember I didn't bend that part that you can't see. All right, I didn't bend that part, right? I'm going to take these 3 wires. I want them parallel. I want them to lay flat in there. You do not want this to twist up when it goes in. You want all 3 of these wires nice and flat. All right. If they move a little bit, don't get too discouraged because there are steps to flatten it out later. Damn, my lighting's weird right now. There you go. Them 3 cores, we want them flat. We're going to take the clapton. All right. Now, the arch has a flat part. All right. Since we pinched it down, there's obviously a flat part. I'm going to pinch that with my fingers. And I'm going to take the 3 wires. I'm going to shove them in there. Make sure they stay flat. You can take needle noses. All right, to make sure that they stay pretty flat. You just don't want them to twist. It doesn't matter if they go in 3 as long as they don't twist. All right, now, this is where if you pinched it too much, you might have problems. Just try not to bend them at all. So we're recoring with the 3 wires and trying to keep this build straight. Now you're going to just have to move up a little bit, fix these claptons, and you're just going to fish this all the way in. I'm just going to shove them in there, try to keep them as flat as possible. Yeah, I think I really messed up the end of this. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I think I crimped it down way too much. I'm going to cut off what I think's bad there. See, that's the thing, is it's way easier to put it through when there's clapton on it that's not crimped yet. Come on. Get in there. I know you want to. Come on. Okay. That's why it's important not to crimp it too much, because now watch. If you crimp it properly, it's not going to be too hard to feed it. You just push it up a bit. The clapton might stretch a bit, but you just push it up down here then. So I'm pulling up there, and then pushing up there. All right, let me show you. Here's my finger and thumb. Come on, focus for me here. All right, you see where the clapton is? See where my finger and thumb is? Clapton's right here. I'm going to push the clapton up. It's going to spread out a bit. And then I'm going to fix it down here. Pull it up. Fix it down here. Sometimes them wires get caught on the end down here. So you just got to come down and like move it back and forth and it'll go in. Man, maybe I should have did 27 to make it a little easier on myself. And you want to try to keep them as flat as possible, like I said earlier. Oh, fucker. Yeah, if you have 27, maybe you want to use that, because I don't know what the hell is going on, why this isn't going easy for me now. Of course, this will... Oh, that's why. Because the one wire isn't in there because of how it's spread out. Of course. My one wire came out because I pulled the clapton up too much. It made an opening. That's why you want a tight clapton with these. Hopefully it'll work with me and get in there. It probably won't. Or maybe it will. Come on. What a pain in the ass this is. I don't know why it's being such a pain in the ass, but it is. I swear the ones off camera went really easy. I don't know if I should even mess with this one anymore. Yeah, sure I will. Alright. Let's put it this way. Let me just finish showing you how this is done. Maybe we'll retry it. Alright, so after you get it in there, I may have to do this all over again anyway. Alright, so once you get it in there, the end, you should have flat wire. Alright, see how they're flat? Pinch with some kind of flat pliers. I like using these, but you could also use toothless pliers to do this. Alright, and you're going to go down and make sure all the wires are flat, like this here. Alright, flat, 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 flat. And then you're going to want to flatten it more with a jeweler's block and a hammer. You're not going to have to do as much flattening as, let's say, you know, the cat rack. You just got to go through and flatten it a little bit. It's not going to be something like a crazy amount of hammering. Just a little bit. just gotta find my jeweler's block. I swore I had it here. Here it is. All right. And this one, you can go one way, but you don't have to. Actually, let me show you what it looks like right now before I start hammering. That's what it looks like right now. Yeah, it looks like I might have messed up the pinching a little bit. I might have pinched too hard in some spots. You could go with the up and down. You don't have to do this way. You can, but you don't absolutely have to do it that way. And I just like making like 2 or 3 passes with this. I have a big mistake in the middle of this, but I just want to show you. Just make a couple passes and then it'll look like this. You'll get that start to the arch look. Yeah, I might have messed up this wire pretty good. It's basically going to look like a clapton just wanting to melt off your cores. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do with the 15 minutes I have left in this first hour. I'm going to try that again. See if I can't do this real quick without messing up too much. Now, I did notice that I didn't need that much clapton, even though I made a mistake. I could do that with less clapton. Okay, so let me clapton this again. Decore it. Let's go back again. Let me see if I could do this. All uniform without crushing anything. It's the first that's the important one. Because not only is it like
fanning down, but it's also kind of pushing out. It's going to make them 3 cores have a better space to travel in so that they stay flat. If it's round, in some spots, it's going to want to, them cores are going to want to make a triangle shape. So okay. You can't see now. And I think to make things easier on myself, I'm going to switch over to 27. Plus, this build is a baggy build. Like, you don't have to be really, really tight inside there. Now, 326 will work because that is what I used on the other one. Maybe I'll just do 26 just to stay with the plan. But you could switch over to 27 if you wanted to go in there even easier. If you feel like you're having real problems with 26, it's tight. And you could switch over to 27 since it's a little thinner. Even 28. I actually think 4 pieces of 28 fits in this. But 28 isn't as sturdy, so it might bend easier when you're pushing it through. Smaller sections, working with smaller sections is going to be better for you. As you could see, if that would have been an 8-inch piece, I would have had a lot of problems. The smaller the piece, the easier it's going to be to get your finished product. And I'm at the end here. All right. I don't like how this clapton is kind of separated here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clip that off. I don't even want that. All right. But I still got some straight clapton at the end to send my wire through. All right. I could send my wire through the round part, and then it'll go to the arched part. Okay. So let's do the 26 again. What I'm going to do actually this time is hopefully I can get it a little bit thinner if I twist it to straighten it instead. Maybe this will help. So I think I did it with Canthol before, and I straightened it like this. This might make it a little thinner. I don't know. All right, now I just got to cut 4 pieces at about 4 inches. 3 pieces. I'm sorry, 3 pieces at 4 inches. All right, let's try it again. take our 3 pieces, get them nice and flat. Stick them into there. And try to keep them claptons tight this time when you push it up. Don't let them spread out. So I'm kind of pushing like right where the ends of the cores are. Like I'm pinching. I know the cores are here. I know it's a little blurry what I'm showing you, but it'll work out. I know the cores are here, so I'm kind of support them there and push them up from where the cores end. And then if it stops, then I kind of have to release some there. Push. I'm almost at the end already. Yeah, see, this isn't as if you crimp it down, if you had problems like I did, it's probably because you crushed your wire too much. I think that's what I did. So that just goes to show you something that can go wrong. Look, I'm at the end already. That's how quick it could be. Whoa, bent that. That wasn't good. I'm at the end anyway. It doesn't matter. Now watch. These are my 3 wires I'm pushing through. Three wires down here. Come on. This camera wants to focus good in some parts and not in others. I'm going to bend these out so you can see that they're 3. Three wires came out. Okay, now I got them here. I want to flatten them out, right? So I'm going to flatten them here first and pinch all the way down and get that 3 flat all the way down. If you got to twist it a little like this. And just pinch it so they all go flat, little at a time. This one's going to be a good one. I'm glad I redid it. I still got 7 minutes. So see, you can do 2 large claptons in an hour. It won't be bad. It'll be fun. I think that's what happened with the first one is I just pinched too much in a couple spots on the last one. Maybe I was rushing a little bit. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I just made a mistake with my hands. That's why in Homeboy OC's video, he says make a couple of these decors. It doesn't hurt to just make a couple in case you mess up on one. All right, so I pinched down. This is what I got so far. You can kind of see like the clapton's in a weird shape. It's not just like a straight clapton. It's kind of like, well, arched. All right. And now we can do the flatten. Now I have flattened them with this too. And you can, if you want to do this real quick, if you have a pasta roller, that would work really good. You could do this. This is kind of like the same thing I was just doing with the squeezing. Kind of the same deal. But what I don't like about this is it likes to twist the wire in a certain way. But you could still do it and just untwist. All right. And now I'm going to flatten these wires out. Give it a little bit of a flattened cat track look also. And this also does something for the look when we wrap it up in coil form. like going down it like 3 times. Hit every little bit 3 times. You could do more if you want, depends on how flattened of a look you want. All right, so we'll stop there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I think I'm going to wrap this around a 2.5. I think that's what I did the other. Yeah, I got a 2.5. I'm going to wrap this around the 2.5. Just make sure it lays flat, that them 3 cores lay flat. Now a 2.5 is really going to let this build pop. The tighter of a wrap it is, the more the build's going to pop. If you put it around a 3mm, you're still going to get a good look. But it seems like the tighter you make it, the more the arch clapton comes out. All right, got a nice little 5 wrap there. Nice. I'm glad I did it over. Oh, that's nice. That's what you want. See how it looks like the clapton just wants to freaking fall off of the wire, and the side profile of this looks really cool too. So them open gaps that juice is going to get into. Now look at the side profile. It's tight on the inside, but it's loose on the outside. That's an arch clapton for you. All right. Whew. Now, let's talk about it. Let's fucking talk about it. Okay, so this one will go in the trash. We will get that installed in something. I don't know what yet, but let's talk about something now. Little story for you. Let's talk about Mr. Snakebelly. All right. That might go. Nah, I kind of want to vape the Kennedy. Let's talk about Mr. Snakebelly. All right, so Mr. Snakebelly. Mr. Snakebelly. Mr. Snakebelly. What is this, the Peerless? Yeah, we'll do it in the Peerless, I guess. Peerless is a pretty cool RDA. All right. So, when I do these videos, sometimes if I don't know all the information I like to know, I go back and I research. All right. So, the originator of this coil that we just did is Homeboy OC. The originator of the Snakebelly, which was the Snakebelly came before the snake spine. Now, the Snakebelly comes from a guy named Big Kev 87.
Big Kev 87, I found out, also did the snake spine. Remember we did the snake spine? That's Big Kev 87. These two builds are very similar. So I'm thinking about the snake belly, and I thought I knew how to do a snake belly. I thought I've done one before. But I was thinking, when I do a snake belly, my bends are on the side, but I think I seen them where the bends are on top. I thought it was a one chord build. So I go look up Big Kev to see what his first ones looked like. And I go there and I look at it and I'm like, I don't know a fucking thing. I don't know how you fucking. I looked at it. I was like, I know how you can do that, but that looks weird. That's a snake belly. I never did that before. So then I start looking at it and I'm like, tell me that. Did he do it like that? No way. There's no way he possibly did that. There's no way he parallel claptoned and fished a wire through one of the claptons, because that's what it looks like. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So I looked at it. I was like, did he parallel clapton, separate the claptons, and stick a wire down one? I was like, no fucking way. So I tried it. I was like, there's no fucking way he did that. No fucking way he did that. There's got to be another way. Did he decore and parallel clapton and fuse the decore onto another wire? And I tried it. I was like, no, that's stupid. That's even harder than that one is. So I'm trying. I'm sitting here. I'm trying. 2 hours go by and I'm like, I don't know. This is going to suck. And then I looked at my list. I was like, is there any other coils I could do in this video that would make sense? And I was like, no, these two coils make sense with each other. These two coils have to be done this week. So I was thinking, I know who would know. Richie Oliver would know. Richie Oliver would know how to do it. Absolutely. But I said, let me just look on his page again. So I looked on his page again. I looked at the coil. I was like, that coil's pretty fucking awesome. I'm actually very surprised at how cool his coil is. And I looked at his texts on the coil, and he doesn't say nothing. He says nothing about how he did it. He didn't even say the cores he used, the wires he used. And then I seen that it was a 2-core build. And I was like, wow, it's a 2-core build? And I noticed that it was made out of 3 different wires. So before I text Richie Oliver, I didn't end up texting Richie Oliver. What I did was I Googled it. I said, I hashtagged snake belly coil, and I looked at other snake bellies. And people had all different kinds of snake bellies. They had, I'd seen coils that I remember when I started building, looking at these coils. I've seen a stovetop. I've seen 20 different. If you go look at snake belly coil, hashtag snake belly coil, you'll see a bunch of really cool snake bellies. But they're very different from a snake spine in a way. Very different. So I look at them and I notice something. I noticed that they all look parallel clapton at some point, but they never use the same wire. They never parallel clapton with 232 gauges, or parallel clapton with 230 gauges, or parallel clapton with 236. It's always 2 different wires. It's always 30 and 32 parallel clapton, or 32 and 36 parallel clapton. It was always 2. Somebody did a micro clapton and 32 gauge. So it was always 2 different wires. So it was like, they are parallel claptoning, and the reason why they're using 2 different wires is so they could tell them apart. So I started thinking, I was like, I think I know how he did this, but that doesn't solve the problem of it being super fucking hard. It still looks fucking too hard. I can't believe that this is what these people are doing, that they're actually fishing a fucking wire through a parallel clapton, but only going through one of the parallel claptons. Like, think about that. We did the parallel clapton in 1 week. Remember this? Hold on, it's here somewheres. Remember this parallel clapton? We did that parallel clapton. Well, I knew they were doing that, and then they were decoring it. Okay, so they were making this clapton, a 3032 or whatever, or a 3236. They were decoring it, and then it looked like they were putting another core through one of them wires, not both, through one. They were stitching one of them parallel claptons. And I was like, no fucking way. There's no way that all these people are doing that. And I tried it. I was trying it. I was like, this is a fucking pain in the fucking ass. So I ended up Googling it. So I Googled it, and I got a Reddit, and it was from a builder that I know back when I started building. His name's Mommy's Favorite Accident, I believe his name is, or Mom's Favorite Accident, or something like that. And he has a Reddit post where it explains how it's done, and he has a couple little pictures. So I wasted so much time researching this and trying it out. It was like 4 hours later, and I finally looked it up. So I know how you do them now, but I still have not got a successful one. So I will show you the steps. I looked on YouTube. Nobody has a fucking video of this. So that also tells me, listen, you should also make a video of this. Not just a coil class. Maybe you should do a pre-recorded, because it's a badass looking build. It's a very cool looking build. So let's just get that straight right now. I think a lot of people don't do it because it is hard, and I think the information just isn't out there. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to use damn near the same exact wires that this post told me to use. I'm using the same for the core, same for the D core. My claptons are going to be a little different, a little different. It's important to have 2 different clapton wires. So what we're going to do with the directions that they showed me is I'm going to try. I hope I get it. I do. I'm about 50-50 whether I'm going to get this the first time or not. I'm about 50-50. All right. So if I don't get it, we'll have a video this week of me getting it. Hopefully I'll get it at some point. If I don't do it good now, I'll practice it and make a video, because it's a very technical build. I didn't realize how technical they were. I venture to say they're harder than a snake spine. I think they're, at certain points, they're harder than a snake spine. I think. All right, so that is my dilemma, and this is how we're going to deal with it. All right, let's do it. So I got about 45 minutes to mess with this. I got to install that arch clapton and show you that. So here we go. So who would have thought? A coil class. My dumbass doesn't know how to do one of the coils. Never done one of the coils. Do you know how exciting that is for me to find a coil I've never done? That's very exciting for me, guys. I'm like a fucking giddy little schoolgirl. I found a coil I've never done. And it's not like an alien fused pitchfork. It's like a fucking regular coil that I never did. I always thought, like, why would I do a snake belly? I'll do a snake spine. It's 2 times harder. Not the case, my friends. Not the case. So we're all going to learn here. Now, even though I might not get this, I know all the steps. I do know how to do it. All right. First, we're going to need 20 gauge. 20 gauge. 20 gauged, 20 gauge. So I'm going to get some 20 gauge. Doesn't matter what kind. This is just to get a D core. I'm going to get 20 gauge. I'm going to try to find the end of this mess of a wire. I didn't think when doing coil class there was going to be a coil that I never did. I really didn't. But here it is. And it just fits in this video because it's a lot like an arch clapton with the looks. It ain't going to be easy, but I hear nothing gets easier. You just get better. I heard that phrase and I like it a lot. It doesn't get easier. You just get better, right? .20 gauge. Let's straighten it out. It's straight. We're going to put this on the swivel just to make easier parallel claptoning. All right. Get that on the swivel. Bend it over. Giggity, giggity. What's up? What's up, Mr. Am's Sugar Lighters? All right. I'm going to use, okay, that McDonald's story, I will upload. I have, like, that story was something I wrote today, obviously. That I didn't really buy McDonald's for $2.6 million. That's a story that I wrote in my head today. I practiced it 3 times. Like, no lie. I did it on camera 3 times to make sure I didn't miss anything. When somebody's not interrupting you, like Mr. Black Hat Whiteface, it goes through pretty smooth. So I will upload the best video I have of that after this. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed that because I literally, for 4 hours, I wrote that story in my head and I actually quite enjoyed it. So I'm going to take, I don't know, I guess about 5 feet, really just 4 feet of 32 gauge. All right. Now, you could use so many different combinations of this wire. It's not even funny. I've seen so many different combinations of what people use. I think this is going to be the easiest. All right. Now, 30 gauge. Same thing. I'm going to take out about 4 feet, just like we did the parallel clapton and the parallel clapton video. 30 and 32. Now, I tried this the first time with 30 and 36, and it didn't go well. The 36 was too weak. But if I would be better at these, I probably would have got it. Now, I'm going to take this, both the wires, and wrap it around here. And then I'm going to parallel clapton. All right, so I'm just parallel claptoning these 2 wires on. You need to make sure this is a good parallel clapton. No skips, no going over each other. Make it a good parallel clapton. You see how I could tell the difference in them 2 wires? That's what makes this build important, that you use two different wires. So I could tell the difference. All right, let me parallel clapton this whole thing. Okay, I'm all the way at the end. I reversed it a little bit. I probably didn't have to. All right. Now, this is the part that I did not know about. All right. What we're going to do is we're just going to decore it, just like anything else. All right. So I'm going to cut my 20 gauge here where I made a little mistake, and I'm going to decore. All right. So then I was thinking, how the hell? I'm going to cut this off too. I think I have to. So is Dave and Gore here? I wonder if he ever... Dave, have you ever done a snake belly, like the original version? Okay, so this is it. See how sturdy it is? This is decored. All right, so I was like, how the hell
do they fish it down one of these? All right. Vaping elevator guy, what's up? 50 people here. What's up, everybody? I said, how the hell did they do that? So I started twisting this, and I started opening it, and I tried so fucking hard, and it was so difficult until I looked at that Reddit post by Mom's Favorite Accident, or whatever is, I think is Mommy's Favorite Accident or something. All right. And what he showed is he stretched the D-core and they separate better. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. You can't stretch it too much because then you lose the spiral to send your wires in. So what he did is he took both ends and stretched it. All right. And when you stretch it at a certain point, I'm going to let go right now and see. At a certain point, they will separate. All right. They won't separate perfectly, but they will separate. All right. A little bit at least. You just need it to separate a little bit. Put it this way. I did get to the one step at a certain point. Okay. Let me show you in the camera. So I don't want to stretch it too much more, but you'll see that it's going to be easier to separate them when it's like that. All right, so I'm going to just try that. Now, to separate them, I can't have like no little like things that are connecting them. Like that pinch there, that's connecting them too, isn't it? I got to cut that off. I got to have this clean down here so I could separate them. Now, what he did was he kind of bent, he put a bend in it right here, I think at some point. But if you do kind of twist them, almost go like this, or just grab one of them. Let me show you. If I just grab one of them, you see, I could separate them where they're next to each other. And I got to shove cores down that. So you could imagine how much fun this is going to be. But once I got going on the last one, it wasn't too bad. What I do want to make sure is that I go down the thicker wire. So the 30 gauge is on the top right now. I could tell that the 30 gauge is bigger than the 32. The 30 gauge is on top. So I want to put it down the 30 gauge. All right. So what I want to use, again, is 26. Now, I am going to use 27 for this because 26 was giving me a little bit of issues. It really was. So I am going to grab some 27 gauge stainless steel. And I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to get this loop here as tight together as possible because this is what's going to go down my wire. I tried to send 2 wires down there and it was possible. I was getting it, but it was way harder. So I think sending the bend down is the smarter way to go about it. See how close I got that? Maybe even a little closer. Cool, cool. All right. Now, I want to separate these again, get my 30 gauge up in the air a bit. And I want to get this guy into just the 30 gauge, and that's it. Them 227s I'm putting inside the 30 gauge. This wire is going to be extremely hard to show you how I'm doing every single step, because most of it I need to have in my hand at all times, but I'm going to try to show you every once in a while what I got. Oh no. Get off of there. So in that post I read, he used 26. 20 gauge for the D core and 26 to send down it. I'm using 27 to make life easier. I'm hoping it makes life easier. This is what I got. That's the bottom view, the 27 going through the 30, the 32 staying at the top. That's what you got to do all the way down. All right. Oh, hold on, Dave. I'm reading. I power clapton twice, remove the spacer, D-cord, put in a smaller diameter, and then, I don't know how to say it, but I stagger fuse them and flint and get the curves. You're talking about, yeah, I think you're talking about a snake spine, though. That's what I thought I was going to do. And then I looked up the original, and it was very different from what I thought. That's kind of what I talked about in the beginning, was like, I thought this build was different than what it is. See, the problem with using 27 is 26 was a little more sturdy. Wow. See, I get these points where I get caught on a clapton. It's much like the arch where I'm recoring something, and I gotta make sure that it doesn't mess up as I'm doing it. It's happening. It is happening. Yeah, I gotta give a big shout out to my patrons, because I got to make a big wire order yesterday. It's happening. It's kind of just moving out of the way as it goes. It's like once you get it started, it doesn't seem too bad. But let me, before I talk too much, let me get them in better. I think 27 was the idea. I might have stretched it too much. I'm not sure. Wow. See, now I bent them. This build is no joke. This is not easy. I can't believe somebody thought of this, really. I ain't gonna lie, for a little bit I was about to say, F that build. I could have just not mentioned it and nobody would have known. But I enjoy the challenge, I suppose, I guess. It's a pain in the ass. I can tell you that. This build is a pain in the ass. I want to get at least enough to show you the next steps. I think I might have enough to show you the next steps right now, just in case somebody's better at this than I am. I might have overstretched it a little too much. I'm thinking that my spiral may be not as open because I stretched it too much, but I'm not sure. It might not be. It might be fine. Just might be this hard. I mean, I knew when I looked at it and I seen how it was done, I knew it was going to be it's going to be hard. I already knew that. And here's the thing, when you stretch two wires that are parallel clapton, they don't stretch the same. One needs more tension to stretch as much as the other. I think if they separate it more, it'd be good. But they're not like separating. I got to push it through in order for it to separate. But it won't push through because it's not separated. Kind of hear it clicking every once in a while. And people who've done this and got a clean one out of it, that's crazy. Because this is a pain in the ass. I'm not sure how much fun I'm having yet. I really don't want to mess it up. I feel like down here should be separated more because this is what I'm dealing with right now. It's not really separated until it goes through. Well, I guess it is. But then again, my 27s ain't straight, so when I'm pushing on them, I'm not just getting a straight amount of tension. Just one of them things, man. I'm good when I get a lot of practice on stuff, but if I never practiced it, it's like I'm doing it my first time, just like I am. All right. This is my 27 gauge cores are freaking up. I'm wondering if I should try it down here. I'm going to cut this because I have enough to show you the next step. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to try with this. Isn't stretched as much down here. I don't think it is. See, when I seen the post, it seemed like he already had it separated. Like it wasn't, I wouldn't have to separate it as I'm going, that they were already separated. Like they were already side by side. Not because it wasn't just separated because I'm pushing a wire through. It was separated because it was already separated. Yeah, even just getting it separated is a pain in the ass. I think I got lucky that first time. Okay. If you want to see the post I'm talking about, just Google snake belly coil, and it'll come up on Reddit, and it'll show you exactly what I've seen. It has the directions written out, and it has a couple pictures. Read your idea. I could send one core through at a time. Can you put a guy wire through outer part, keep things in line while you feed the part you're doing? I was actually just thinking I tried sending one through last night. I tried doing one at a time, and it was working, but I suppose that would work. It is just like a pain in the damn ass. Somebody did this build too in a build off that I did, and I just didn't know how hard it was. And I forget who did it. It's just pushing wires through here and trying to get them to not bend all in themselves is hard. I mean, one wire's going through pretty good. Yeah, one wire ain't too bad. You gotta have very straight wire, very straight cuts. Like, you can't have no kinks or anything on it because it's gonna mess up. I've seen people that stuck 3 cores in these, 4 cores. I think I've seen a 1 core. Nah, I don't think you could do a 1 core. Not sure. Yeah, sometimes things are just hard, right? Like, I can't believe somebody did this the first time and like knew when they got done that they would have something that they liked. Like, this is crazy to me. That somebody was like, and then I'm gonna do this, and at the end of the day I'll figure out how to make it look good. Like, what? I'm almost positive that this build came before aliens and everything. Oh yeah. This 1 core is going down pretty good. I'm wondering if I could just put the other one right next to it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a pro now. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm 4 inches deep for sure. Oh, yeah. I think doing it like this is the key. Having that wire straight down and sticking it in like that. Look at that. Done. From there to there, 1 core's in. All right. Fucking pro. Look at that. So the funny thing about this is there's a build that was out there a little bit ago. And I thought he did this for it. And a lot of people ask me, like, how the fuck do you think he did that? And we talked about this. We said, do you think he one of them or stitched them one at a time? And he aliened with something like this. Is it? I want to say it's Column Italy Builder or something. His name's like Colin and Italy Builder. He did like these weird stitched aliens. They were like 2 mohawks next to each other. It was like an interlock mohawk. One of them was stitched. It was so weird. And this is the only way it looks like he could do that. And I wonder if this is exactly what he was doing. Yeah, I did this 1 core at a time. Well, let's see if I can get the other core in there, though. That's the thing. Is if I can't get the other core in there, then this was a bad idea. You know? The idea is you kind of need 2 cores to finish this build. I don't think I could do this with 1 core. I don't think the build is going to work right if I only have 1 core in there. You have to have at least 2 cores, I think, because of the way that I'm going to have to flatten it out. It might be like an alien, like the way you stretch it's very important. The thing is the post that I looked at, I'm pretty sure he shoved both cores down at the same time. That 2 cores is hard. 2 26 gauge cores? It's going, but it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, that is not going to go good. I mean, if I'm just bending at the beginning, imagine when I get down there. I just want to keep stopping. Yeah, it wants to keep getting caught on the end like this. And if I have to do that all the way down, it just keeps grabbing that. And if I have to do that all the way down, it's going to be problems. I think I stretched it too much. Actually, I'm almost positive it's stretched way too much. The only thing I could think of is like unstretch it. If I were like bend this and push up. No, you can't do that. Damn. What time is it? 8:42. So this is basically what happens after this. You get the 2 cores in there. You got to bend both sides so the clapton doesn't go anywhere. And you flatten these. Now, flattening it isn't as hard as a snake spine. That's the easier part of this. Is the flattening part should be easier. You would just take your pliers. Pinch it where you got to pinch it. Oh, man. What a mess. Pinch it where you got to pinch it and just ride them up. And it would flatten. I think I should do it with that 18 gauge. I really do. I think I should do 18 gauge and like 25, because even this part ain't easy. Yeah. I got a lot to learn on this. I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot to learn on this one. I'll attempt one tonight or tomorrow morning. I was photographing all the products at a queue. Yeah, I gotta practice this one. I kind of knew that's how this was going to go. Is that I probably wasn't going to get it tonight because I seen how hard it was last night. Now I got this 1 core though. I think this is stretched too much. I don't think this is how much you want to stretch it. I don't know. I think down here looks good. But I don't think I want to. You don't have an unstretcher? You might need an unstretcher for this one. I don't think this is how you want it to go. But if you you could alien with this. That's what the cool thing about it is. Listen, once I get it, I guess I'll just have to do a video on it. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'll get it this week. This is going to be a little challenge for myself. I guess. So I'm going to try it again this week. I'd love to see people get it. Extra credit, yeah. If you get it and I don't, good on you. I hope somebody gets it. I hope somebody gets it. So let's install this arch clapton, and yeah, there might be a coil class detention if I figure it out. There might be a coil class detention. I actually am starting to think. I think I know what's going on actually now that I think about it. That post he did, he used 34 gauge. That's probably saving him a lot of room inside that clapton. But I see that you got to do 20. I bet you if I did it with 18, I could get it with 225s. I bet you I can. Hold on, I might give it one more try. It's just getting late, man. How about this? Oh, I guess I could install this real quick, right? See, this Peerless is cool, But man, these posts are so weird. Like, I don't like it when they have flat posts. Oh yeah, you could do either. Oh, this thing's badass. This is the best deck ever. I forgot. The Peerless has post holes at the top for little wires and then 2 posts at the bottom for big wires. So it's pretty cool. I forgot about that. I was trying to put it in the post at the top. Yeah, this is a cool little deck. But it's not getting my lead. Trap, fucker. Yeah, go look on Instagram at some of the people's that know how to do them posts. Go look at the people that know how to do them. They look pretty cool. Go check them guys out. I wish I could share my screen in here because they do look pretty cool. Oh, I don't know if this build could even go in this deck. It's weird. Maybe if I would have done a stick trap. So, man, I haven't been having good luck on this coil class thing, but I'll tell you what, next week we're going over staples, so I'm going to kill it then. Do them staples. I love the side profile of these. They look so cool. I probably could have flattened it out a little more. But ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Here. Good. All right. Let's try it this way. I think I made too much clapton wire first of all. Ezekiel, class is almost over. It's in the title. What are we doing in class today? Ay, Ezekiel. I'm making this easy on F all this stuff. F all this 26 gauge, and I'm doing 18 with 25 gauge cores to start. Make it a little easier on myself, right? It's all good, Ezekiel. We're doing arch claptons and snake bellies, but I didn't really do a snake belly, so I'm in a bad mood. So I'm going to take it out on you. I'm kidding. Parallel clapton. All right, Dave. Dave's going to come back and be like, I did it. I'm done. Done. Cut this end off. Cut these guys off. Just stretch it a little less. think that's what I was doing. Watch this. That's exactly what I did wrong. I stretched it way too much. So I did a very little stretch on this one. This is how much I stretched it. Let's see if I can get it now. All right. I am going to do the 25 still. What if I get it in like 10 minutes? Yeah, it kind of looks like an arch clapton. That's why I thought these two had to go together. Looks a little cooler than an arch clapton, though. It almost looks like a stitched arch clapton. Look how much it's spread apart already. I stretched it way too much the first time. Look how much it's already stretching apart after I just get that little bit in. I might have to go to that Reddit post and read something. I'm almost done fucking coring this. Look at that. I'm going to get this build done in 10 minutes. Watch. Stretched it too much the first time. First couple times. Because that's exactly how I was doing it last night too. But I think there might be a couple more steps before the flattening. I'm almost done. I'm all the way down here. That's what it is. I stretched it too much. Obviously, I'm using bigger wires. So I think the 2026 will work. But I'm going to go to that Reddit post and tell you exactly what it says the wires he used. And I think there might have been another step that he did that I'm not thinking about. Now, it's pretty important that the clapton isn't on the side of these wires, that it's on top of the two wires. So you don't want your clapton on the side. You want it in the middle of the two cores. So you see how that's kind of off to the side at the top, but down here it's on the two cores. That's what you want. You want it on the two cores. So I see only one core there with the side profile. Let me show you the underside. That's the underside. See the two cores are flat. Okay. I just got to make sure that that's how it is all the way down. I'm just going to cut the end. I don't need that much, so I'm just going to cut the end off. Get my eyes away. Okay. Let me go to that Reddit post because there was a step in there that he wrote out that I didn't quite understand. It said something and I just didn't understand. I don't know if it was how he worded it or what, but there was something, there was a step that I just didn't get. I didn't think it was needed, but maybe it is. I know I have to bend both sides. I know that. Snake belly coil. It just says coil.
Here's the definition of coil.
Thanks.
A length of something.
You would be dead. Thank you. I know. You would be dead. My video came up right away. That's funny. Here it is. Reddit open. No. Okay, here it is. My mom's favorite accident. Thank you, my mom's favorite accident. It's got pictures here. Bent, and flatten. Right? Okay, so snake belly. How to? Undead creature. Okay, parallel clapton 2 cores onto a 20 gauge core. I use 30 gauge and 34. Depending on how you clapton, it will decide the direction you fold down the scales. I went counterclockwise. I went from the under over or counterclockwise. Decore the clapton wire from the core and stretch it out enough to when they start to separate from another but still interlocked. Then run 2 26 gauge cores through one side. I butt it through the 30 gauge side. I put it through the 30 gauge side. 3. Fold one end of the wire. No. Come on, man. Fold one end of the wire. Fold one end of the wire. Four. Slide the stretch interlock clapton back together. I use toothless pliers to slide it back down. That makes sense. Interesting. That's the step I didn't understand. Now I get it. And I cut my cores already. Damn it. I shouldn't have cut them. I cut the cores at the bottom and I shouldn't have. I should have went all the way through. So what he's saying is you bend that end, right? And then you hold this end and slide. You want to slide your claptons back together nice and neat. So I got to fix something I did wrong here. So let me just fix it real quick. Basically, you want to shove your cores all the way through so they come out until the other end. Yeah, I'll have a video for this later this week for sure. Oh, that just went my eye. Okay, so I'm grabbing these 2 cores that are out of the other end, right? And I'm going to grab the clapton and push it all the way up. And it's going to close up that clapton, right? So I don't know how much you have to put. I don't think you have to push it all that much, but whatever. I pushed it enough. And then I think it says bend them down so it stops it. Fold the other side, the other end once it all together. 6. finally fold the scales over with toothless pliers. If you went counterclockwise, the Clapton scales will fold down. If you went clockwise, they will fold upwards. I don't get that, but I think I do. I don't get it, but I do get it. All right, so I'm going to make sure the Clapton's at the top. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. You gotta, okay. Man, that's smart. That's actually a really good post. He explained that actually very well. Very well. He should be making videos. Who the hell is that? Who are you, undead creature? That's undead creature. Is that my mom's favorite accident? I'll have to contact him. I've talked to him a little bit before. Okay. So I get it. I don't want to fold it. I want to fold it this way. I understand that. It's really hard to explain. I don't know if it really matters, though. I guess it does. I want to fold them this way. All right. So I'm going to grab this with this, and I want to get some toothless pliers, I suppose. I want to, actually, I'm going to do this even more. So this is what I got right now. Okay. Toothless pliers. I guess this will be good. I think I could do it with the nylons, but whatever. Is Addie Tooney here? Let's see if I get it. What did that take? All of 15 minutes? If I do get it? I'm going to hold this end with a pair of pliers. I fucked it up. So obviously, I got to go a little tighter down there. It came right off. It folded all the way down and out. All the way down and out. I'm not after no ums. I just do the build. I'm not really after any ums. I do this more for art, Pat. I actually don't think this is a good way to bend them. I think there's a better way. That wasn't a good way to do it. I wonder if he just did this. I don't know. It's so weird. I think 32 is a bad gauge to be using. There you go. That's what you want. I got a little bit to show you. Only it would be closer. See that section there? That's kind of what you want, a little bit tighter. So yeah, I'm play with this concept and I'll put a video out later. At least I know what I was doing wrong. I think with the directions I gave you, you'll be able to figure it out. I think the bending over is going to be a little harder than what they're saying. I don't get the flat. I don't know. Maybe I should have just secured it better. All right, guys. So this was a good one still. I still like it. It's fresh on. Well, I got to get going anyway. So, yeah, I will talk to all of you. I'll post this video real quick. It's only a 5-minute video. Up next for coil class is staple coil. Staple coils next week. All right. So I will upload this little 5-minute video about me buying a McDonald's with all the Patreon money and YouTube money. I'm fucking balling, in case you didn't know. I'm fucking balling, dude. I don't fucking care. I didn't get the coil. I don't care. I'm still getting paid. Still getting paid, motherfuckers. All right, everybody. Thank you to all my patrons. I got to do a nice wire order. I should get that wire order sometime Thursday. I think I'm actually going to do a video on Coil Society wire real quick. So, future so bright, gotta wear shades, right? All right, I'm out of here. I'm glad I'm not the only one making mistakes, though, right? A lot of people learn. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Hashtag coil class. Let's see if you can get it before I post a picture. All right. Peace out. I'm done.